Dear students, in this module, we're going to talk about horticultural and agricultural societies evolving from hunting and gathering and pastoral societies towards horticultural and industrial societies. Uh, about 10 to 12,000 years ago, people began to use the hand tools to produce their own food instead of collecting and gathering the food from their environment. So, by making those tools, human beings were being able to be more productive and more creative to collect or to produce their own foods. So, these societies can also be distinguished or be understood based on their economic needs as well as their social organization. So, for the economic needs, societies marked by relatively permanent settlements because they have been involved in the agriculture, so they needed to be permanently settled in the spaces or in the geographic areas where more water was available. क्योंकि agriculture definitely depends on the availability of water and fertile land. So these societies, people began to be relatively permanently settled in the areas where such resources have been abundantly available so that they could produce their own food. And production of domesticated crops started, and then the social organization also started to begin very complex in a way that people learned how to produce the surplus food. Which could have been stored by using different mechanisms and techniques, and the elaborated division of labor began to be emerging as compared to the society in the what have been observed in the hunting and gathering societies. So different occupational roles like farmer, traders, craftsmen begin to emerge during that stage. So examples of societies like we can see in our villages or maybe in the tribal regions where people still have very simple technology to produce their food. They are not depending on the latest or modern technology to produce their food. So maybe we can still find these people around those areas, those remote areas where technology is yet to be available. When it comes to agricultural societies, these societies used the technology and domesticated animals to produce more food for instead of using the hand tools, they were more apt to use the technology which was more complex as compared to what was available in the previous societies. So definitely the economic base was important to produce such technology, because as the societies became more complex because of the increasing population, human beings were in need of more food, and to produce more food they needed to have more technology or the complex technology which could be available to for the fertile land to produce more food. So livelihood dependent on the elaborated and large scale patterns of agriculture and increased use of technology for more food production. In this society, the caste system began to emerge, where differentiation or the sense of identification have been by your by the specialization of your tasks. Like the farmer in the agricultural society has his own specialized task, whereas the barber would have their own specialty. Examples we can see even in today's Pakistani society in the rural areas, where you would find different people with different specialized tasks. Not everyone is engaged in collecting or making food, but people begin to sense that we can do much more than merely producing the food, because we can now have more time thanks to the availability of technology to produce more food by using the less labor. So now we can see that people are having enough resources as well as much more time to be engaged in other tasks. I mean, other than the collection of food, other than the security, and other than producing the shelters.